research has brought me unusual assignments, but one of the strangest was given me by Marineland of the Pacific. It was a quiet morning. The sky was clear, untroubled, peaceful. Or so it seemed when I started down into the big fish tank. I'd taken on the force feeding of a blue shark that was refusing to swallow food. It's odd how these fish, so ferocious in the ocean, are timid in captivity. It was this job that brought me to exactly the right place at the right time to get the most demanding assignment of my life. An assignment that made every newspaper headline in the country. I was at the bottom of the Marineland tank feeding the shark when I felt an unusual vibration. It must have come from outside the tank. I surfaced to investigate. It was the sonic boom of a jet. It's kind of funny how the jet pilot's problem survival was the same as mine. Oxygen taken for granted at sea level, but a vital concern at 40,000 feet up or 40 feet down. But at the moment, his welfare was being looked after by a control boat offshore. It was monitoring his flight.
You came out of that dive pretty low.
What was the reading on the scope, Captain? 3,000 feet. Control to XF-190.
XF-190 to control.
You've worked in too close to shore.
Roger.
And your pullout was low on your last dive.
I began pull-out at same altitude as previous dives. Sluggish reaction from controls. So I try again?
Yes. Repeat conditions.
Match 2 dive from 40,000 feet. Begin pull-out at 10,000. Level off at...
What's the matter?
Control to XF-190. Come in, XF-190. Control to XF-190. Acknowledge. You see him?
Just about. He seems to be almost down on the deck.
XF to control. Violent vibration throughout ship. Cannot hold altitude. I'm going to ditch. Do you see me?
Jim, bail out.
I think I can pull her out of it.
Get rid of your canopy and bail out.
Can't. Too late.
Where did he go in? 275 degrees.
275 degrees. Go, Captain.
Get the office on the radio phone.
Hello? Oh, yes, put him on. Hello? What?
Yes, sir, that's right. And then he went in.
When did it happen? Well, what went wrong? How soon will you be over the spot?
About 10 minutes.
All right, hold on. The XF-190 just went into the ocean.
Who's the pilot?
Jim Cook.
Did he get out all right?
Stayed with the ship.
He has 2 children.
He didn't have a chance. The plane sank in 60 seconds.
We've lost Cook. And a research investment of a cool $10 million. What went wrong? We've got to rebuild, and we can't put the same error back in. What did Ryman say?
The only thing Cook said on the radio was violent vibration throughout the ship. Hey, Ryman.
Here.
Do you know how deep it is where the jet went in?
Yes, sir, I have the chart right here. It's 60 feet to the bottom.
All right, now get this. Put a dye marker overboard where the plane hit. Watch for air bubbles on the surface. Get your sonar operating. But find that aircraft. I'll have a Navy salvage crew out to you as soon as I can. We gotta raise that ship and find out what went wrong.
Sir, the captain says we've got to tie a marker buoy to the XF within an hour.
I can't get the Navy out there in an hour. Why an hour?
Hello, sir. This is the captain. It's blowing up out here. I wouldn't guarantee more than another hour of calm sea. After that, it might get too rough to search.
Sir, if we don't mark and find the wreck now, we might never locate it again.
All right. You locate that jet now. I'll have a marker buoy tied to it in 15 minutes.
How?
I know a man who can save us $10 million in 15 minutes.
How?
Jeannie, get me Mike Nelson at Marine Land of the Pacific. If he's not there, try his boat through KOU. But find him in a hurry. It's important. I think you better call Jim Cook's wife.
Who's Mike Nelson?
Oh, he's an ex-frogman. Knows this part of the coast from top to bottom.
Come on, Mike, get with it.
What's the big rush?
Door Aviation wants you in a hurry. One of their jets conked out at sea.
Oh? What do they want me to do? Get out on the hook on the marker buoy?
Yeah, it's 6 miles out, 60 feet down.
They say what happened to the pilot? Did he bail out in time?
He went down with the jet.
Those test pilots, they really have it rough. I'll take sharks any day. Now, let's see. Better give me an extra lung,
Yeah?
and I'll need the underwater phone.
Right.
I'll go get dressed.
No, you don't have time. I told them you were in the tank. They said, come as you are. They've got a helicopter on the way to pick you up.
Bubbles on the water, about 75 feet.
Jack, throw out the hook.
That's half the battle.
Thorcopter to Thor control boat. I'm approaching you at 500 feet, 1 mile east. I have Nelson aboard and ready to dive. Request instructions.
We're right over the XF-190 now. Can you put Nelson aboard us?
We'll put him alongside. Out.
Set, Nelson?
Yeah. Well, it sure looks like it won't be much trouble finding that jet of yours. All I'll have to do is follow those bubbles down. I'll hook this line onto her and set up a marker. You watch for it now, huh?
Mike, I've got this underwater light all hooked up. Can you use it?
Oh, yeah, fine. That's a good idea.
What about your underwater phone?
No, not this trip. If I need anything, I'll send up a message on this slate.
How?
With one of these rescue packs I've got.
Is there anything else you want?
Yeah, that jet plane.
it is. He's found it. There's another marker.
Looks like a slate.
Get the boat hook.
The test pilot was trapped in the cockpit of his airplane 60 feet below the surface. He would die unless I got him out. He had only 15 minutes of oxygen left. But how could he be saved? Could I get him out alive? The odds were impossible, but something had to be done. Still, a wrong move might kill him instead of save him. The pressure might finish him. The water might drown him. And time. The minutes were running out.
What the devil do you mean, pilot alive?
That's right. He's alive.
What are you talking about? He can't breathe water.
But there isn't any water in the cockpit. The seal didn't break. His canopy is jammed tight. And he's surviving in his oxygen mask.
Impossible. No, it's possible.
We gotta work fast if we're gonna save him. He's only got about 15 more minutes of oxygen left. Now think. How are we gonna get him out?
Rip off the canopy, haul him out, bring him up.
From 60 feet, he'll drown before he reaches the top.
No, I think I can take care of that with the extra lung that I brought along. But what's gonna happen to him when I pry off that canopy? When the sudden pressure at 60 feet hits him, will it finish him?
Well, I'm afraid that's a chance we're going to have to take. What other way is there?
How about bringing the whole plane out? You got a winch and cable, haven't you, Captain?
Yes, but it won't lift more than 3 ton.
How much does a jet weigh?
10 ton?
Out of water. In the water, it's hard to say. There's air in the cockpit and the wings and maybe some in the scoop. She may still have a lot of buoyancy.
All right, we'll just lift her up to the top. Not out. It's our best bet. Let's try it. Come on, give me the cable, Captain. I'll take it down.
Right.
Let's hook up the underwater phone to me, huh?
Right.
Hurry now, hurry.
He's going to need a lot of luck. If he had 15 minutes when Nelson found him, he only has 12 now.
He says to take in the slack.
All right, bring the slack in a little bit.
Easy now.
That's enough.
He said to start hauling in.
Easy.
Yeah, it's lifting now.
We got 8 minutes left.
What happened, Captain? The gear broke. Well, can it be fixed? No. Listen, Nelson. Nelson, the gear on the winch broke. There was too much weight. Tell him it can't be fixed. The winch won't work. He says to send down a crowbar, an axe, or anything. He'll chop him out of the canopy.
That pressure will kill him.
He says to send down the extra lung.
Captain, do you have an axe or a crowbar or anything?
Yes, I'll get it.
Good. Jack, get that extra lung here and hurry it up, will you?
What's that? Can you keep the cable taut?
Yes.
Yes, we're sending all the stuff down now. He says he can't smash through the canopy. He can't swing hot enough underwater.
Tell him to pry it off.
He's already tried that.
What?
He wants to know if you got some kind of cutting torch aboard.
Captain?
Yes.
Good, then get it.
Right.
Tell him to come after it.
Nelson, we've got the torch. Come on up after it.
There's only 4 minutes left.
Cook won't let him use the torch. He's pointing to bubbles inside the cockpit.
Bubbles. Oxygen. There's free oxygen seeping in through the cockpit.
Nelson, the bubbles mean free oxygen under the canopy. If the torch burns through, there'll be a flash fire.
Well, what'll he do? He's got to cut him out.
And fast. The water's already up to the canopy.
Up to where?
The canopy.
Well, that's the answer. Tell him to cut through the metal below the water level. Then there'll be no fire.
Nelson, can you hear me? Can you... Now listen carefully. Cut a piece a half-foot square out of the cockpit. The left side. 8. Repeat. 8 inches below the canopy and halfway between the front and rear of the canopy. Got it? You'll be able to reach the release with your hand and then push it back. Got it?
watch says he's almost finished.
Hello, Nelson. Nelson, can you hear me? Nelson, can you hear me? Still nothing. He's calling. He's calling. Say that again, Nelson. Say that again. He says to haul Jim up. To haul him up. He's tied him to the marker buoy line. There's a chance he may be alive. Haul that white line in.
Jim Cook was safely on his way up. I went into the cockpit to take out a monitor camera. Then suddenly I saw something else. Something that Cook might want. A pair of baby shoes.
How's he?
Pretty lucky, thanks to you. Just got a broken eardrum.
Good. Thought you might want this camera.
Oh, great. Maybe it'll tell us how he crashed.
All anchor, we're heading for shore.
Got what it takes, fella. And I think this is what really saved you. Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
Sometimes working for Marineland could be all play. The waters around Catalina were clear and pleasant, and my diving partner, most attractive. We were searching for guitarfish for the big Marineland tank when suddenly a playful sea lion joined our company. Sea lions are natural clowns, friendly, graceful, and curious. This one entertained us for hours. I didn't know then that 1,500 miles inland, an explosion had destroyed a mine shaft, flooding it with water, and that it would be my assignment to fly there and survey the extent of the damage.
1 minute, 30 men are at work here. The next minute, the explosion. 30 men are blown to pieces, the shaft burned out, and the mine flooded.
No survivors at all, huh?
None. We've recovered most of the bodies already. As I said on the phone, our specific problem is how far does the flooding extend? If it reaches as far as this short point, this wooden wall, we know we have to start another shaft. If not, we can go to work fixing up that shaft. You have to give us the answer.
It's about 1,000 yards of this wooden wall here, huh?
Yes, and it can be underwater all the way. Can you carry enough air in those cylinders you wear to make the round trip?
I think so.
Good. A man named Bill Henderson will take you down the shaft. The elevator was wrecked, so you'll have to be lowered by rope. He'll help you pick your way through the explosion area to the point where the flooding begins. You'll have to be careful. There's loose shoring and rock all the way. Now, about your price. How much do you want, Mr. Nelson?
Well, we better talk about that later, Mr. Graham. I have no idea what I'm in for.
All right. Bill. Bill Henderson, this is Mr. Mike Nelson, the man you're going to take down.
Good to meet you, Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Henderson?
Well, good luck, and we're counting on you for our answer.
Do my best.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
Don't mention Mr. Graham. I'm sorry about your boy.
Thanks, Bill.
Your son was in the mine?
One of the first they brought up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Graham.
Thanks.
It was an eerie feeling to penetrate the mine on a rope through the narrow opening of the mine shaft. I've sailed the 7 seas and visited 6 continents, but I'd never been in a mine before, and I never want to be in one again, especially one that's flooded. How far is it to the point where the water begins?
About a quarter of a mile. Try to stay as close as you can behind me, Mr. Nelson. Try not to put any weight on any loose rocks that may be jutting out. One loose one can cause an avalanche. Don't touch that. It's a tight squeeze. Take it slow.
Watch your head. I see what you mean. Tight squeeze is right.
I think it's safe now, but take it easy. You all right, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's this tunnel that's going to pieces.
It ought to be clear from here to where the water starts.
Yeah, well, it won't hurt my feelings.
From here on, you're on your own.
It's down in through there somewhere, huh? Want to hold these for me? Got to put these fins on. Now you can take this hat. I won't need that anymore. Let's see what time it is. 3:20. Got about 40 minutes of air in my tank. Means I gotta get back here at 4 o'clock. My deadline is 4.
What if you don't get back? What can I do?
Nothing.
Mr. Nelson, you've got a dangerous job.
What about this job of yours, Mr. Henderson? Well, see you later, huh?
Good luck, sir.
The water was dirty, so my strong underwater searchlight illuminated the passage for only a short distance. I had to feel my way through the timber. I moved slowly and carefully, studying the layout of the passage, making mental notes of the damage. I thought I heard noises. Noises of falling rock, dripping water, and other sounds that I couldn't place. As I was swimming along, those noises became more pronounced, more regular, as if someone was striking one rock against another. Then suddenly, I noticed a shaft of light from above. I surfaced quickly and looked around. It was difficult to believe. There were two men, two miners on a ledge, trapped in a small air pocket just above the waterline. Breathe! Breathe! Breathe!
Breathe.
How'd you find us?
It's just luck.
Can you get us out of here?
I'll have to go back for the other lung. I left one up on the surface.
Oh, there isn't time. We can't stay here any longer. There isn't any air. 5 minutes more. 10 at the most. Air. Can you get us out? What are you going to do?
I know. We'll go out together. Sharing my air supply on the way. Passing the mouthpiece back and forth, each taking a turn. That might work. But what? I've only got enough air to take one man out. Two men trapped in a foul air pocket in a flooded mine. Only enough air left in my cylinders to take one of the men back with me underwater. Not enough air left in the pocket to keep the other man alive until I could get a new cylinder and return. Who would go? Who would stay? How would I decide? You know how to swim? Little? How about you?
No. Can't.
No, it doesn't matter. It'll be too tough sharing this mouthpiece while we're swimming anyhow. We'll walk side by side. You'll need a weight belt. These rocks. Yeah, these rocks ought to do the trick. That'll keep the man down.
Keep who down? Who are you taking? Don't you give me that stuff about married and having 2 kids. I got as much right to live as you have. I have as much right.
Save your breath. You draw straws. Rocks, I mean. Let me see. There. The man who takes the smaller rock stays.
You do it. You get the small one. I'll get the rocks.
I'll be back as fast as I can. You take some breath. I'll take some more air.
No, you don't. Go.
Go ahead, take.
Well, come on, what are we waiting for? I got the rocks.
All right, put them in your pants leg. Put some string around.
Come on, we're wasting air.
All right, that's enough rocks. Here. Here, you take my mask. See that it fits tight against your face. Now, you've got the mask. So you lead the way. I'll hold on to you, huh? Now, this is going to fill up with water when we pass it back and forth, so be sure that you blow it hard before you suck in your breath, huh? Keep the mouthpiece until I tap you on the shoulder. And you give it up quickly, huh? You understand? All right. Oh, one thing more. When we get near the end, don't panic if you can't get any air. I've still got an emergency supply left when I flip this. Okay, there'll be about 2 minutes of air left.
Who gets the mouthpiece first?
You do. I'll be back as fast as I can. You hold on now.
Good luck.
You're all right. I'll hold on here. Now stop. Ready?
The moment we started down, I knew that there would be trouble. He clung to my mouthpiece frantically. He refused to give it up when I tapped him on the shoulder. I had no choice. I forced it out of his mouth. His fear turned into panic. He reached for my knife and tried to stab me. He was strong as an ox, but underwater I was stronger. I disarmed him quickly. My knife and light fell to the bottom. I pushed him toward the surface and returned him to the air pocket. Then I descended again to recover my light and knife.
What happened? He panicked. I'm taking you out. Get some rocks.
The other miner followed instructions. We touched the bottom together and exchanged our mouthpiece in regular cadence. We moved along smoothly. At the end of the passage, it began to weaken, but I held on to him. And when we noticed the light above from Henderson's lantern, I knew that one life had been saved.
Here, we made it. They found him in an air pocket.
Ben Whitman. There's another man back there. Gotta get another tank. How are you, fella? Okay. Gotta get another run. How far is it up to the surface?
There's 20 minutes just back to the shaft.
Oh, that's no good. Hey, what's that? Is that a welding torch?
Yes, sir.
What about the tanks that go with it? The oxygen and the acetylene tanks. Are they around?
Well, they ought to be.
It's the oxygen tank I want. I might be able to rig it up to this. Look, where are they, you know?
Well, not exactly.
They were near here.
There. Yeah, I see. Good, same valve fit. Need pressure. Oh, tools. I'll need some tools to fit it up to my regulator. Where are they, you know?
The foreman's toolkit should be... It's underwater.
Where? Where are they underwater?
It's over there, about 10 yards out. To the right.
Okay. I got him! Come on, keep going, Pop. Hold this, huh? Works. You got it fixed?
Yeah, but how are you going to carry that tank?
We can strap it on him some way.
There's no time. I'm going to carry it. Get a doctor down here.
Time was running out. There wasn't much hope that I would find the other miner alive, but there was no other choice but to try. This man had tried to kill me. Still, I couldn't be angry or revengeful. The lack of air plays strange tricks on the mind. I hurried as fast as I could. When I reached the air pocket, he was limp, but not dead.
Breathe.
Sorry. I was scared.
It's all right. It's all right. I understand. You didn't know what you were doing because you didn't have enough oxygen. Come on now, let's go. Now remember, when I tap you on the shoulder, you give this mouthpiece up.
I won't forget. I promise.
All right, here, take the flashlight, huh?
This time, he didn't resist me. We were on our way together, toward life.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
My name is Mike Nelson. My job, underwater research. I've had many tough underwater assignments. I've been hired to photograph sharks for scientific institutions. I've been retained by Marineland to study the behavior of whales at close range. I've explored the treacherous hulks of sunken ships for insurance companies. But the most dangerous job I ever encountered arose on a job when I was hired as a consultant by the Costigan Light Metals Company. When I was told to report to the office of the president for briefing, I knew that my job was important. In his office, the first thing I saw was a strange rock. It glittered like a giant emerald.
You're looking at the ore of beryllium, Mr. Nelson.
Beryllium? Yeah, that's one of the light metals, isn't it?
A vital defense material. But the United States has no stockpile. In case of war, we'd be in trouble. But now, there is a stockpile waiting for us, right here. Over 50,000 tons of high-grade crystals like that one. We've bought up the rights to mine it, but there's one tough problem. The vein is at the bottom of an underwater canyon. Strong surges of current flow right through it. Sides are covered with coral reefs and ledges. Our dredging equipment would get hopelessly snarled.
Yeah, I can see that it would.
Now, what I want you to tell me is this. Could a team of divers mine that ore?
Well, that depends on quite a few things. How deep is the bottom of that canyon?
170 feet.
Oh, that wouldn't be easy. The surge would rule out helmet divers. But skin divers equipped with aqua lungs might be able to handle it.
Well, can they work at 170 feet?
Only for a few minutes. But with extra air tanks, that could be stretched to, well, say, an hour per dive.
How many such dives can a man make per day?
Over a sustained period? 2.
No, in that case, we'd need about 20 divers.
You'll be lucky if you get 5.
5? Oh, there must be dozens of frogmen who'd sign up for this job. Men who've been trained to handle the toughest situations in the water.
Down to 110 to 20 feet. Below that, they run into something that training can't prevent. Rapture of the deep.
What's that?
Well, it's kind of a groggy feeling. It's caused by compressed nitrogen in the body. The technical name for it is nitrogen narcosis. You don't know where you are and you start seeing things. Some men actually become violent.
Well, does that affect all divers?
More or less. Some divers can feel it coming on and they swim up to shallow water until it goes away. Others can't recognize the early symptoms. They're the ones that you won't be able to use.
Well, will you help us find divers that we can use?
I'd certainly be glad to try.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
How are you going to bring heavy rocks up from 170 feet?
Well, first we'll blast them loose from the volcanic lava. Then we'll go back down again and gather them up in steel mesh nets. The ship will haul them to the surface. Charlie, you can't make this kind of dough doing these kind of stunts and pictures.
The money I make in pictures, I live to spend. Sorry, Mike. Too risky for me. See you, Mike.
That'd mean I'd be closing up shop, wouldn't it?
That's right. But think of the dough you'd be making.
How long before I'd have to leave for Madagascar?
10 days from now. Of course, you're going to have to pass some tests first. We couldn't fly you halfway around the world and then find out that you couldn't handle the job.
Well, if I can't handle the job, buddy boy, nobody can. Hand it over.
About how long would I be away?
About a year.
May I ask a question? Is it dangerous?
Louise, your husband was one of the best frogmen in our outfit. If he passes these tests that I'm going to put him through, you haven't got a thing to worry about.
I'm sorry, Doug. I don't want you to go.
But Louise! $300 a week plus expenses. We can't afford to pass up a deal like this.
You're over 30, my darling husband. And besides, you've got Carol and me to think about now.
Okay. I guess I know when I'm licked. If you ask me, pal, you're a pretty lucky guy. Goodbye, Louise. I'll see you, Doug.
Hold it, Mike. Look, who are we kidding? Business has been rotten. The baby's been sick. We got a stack of bills bigger than the house. Count me in.
Doug.
Count me in.
Now, look, why don't you think about this for a while, huh? Give me a ring.
You heard what I said.
Have jaundice, kidney trouble, heart trouble, diseases of the joints,
No.
shortness of breath,
No.
pleurisy, pneumonia, asthma, respiratory infections.
Nope.
Any major surgery in the last 5 years?
Nope.
Okay, Doug, you're next.
Yeah.
Stripped to the waist, huh?
Hey, Mike, is this a very tough exam?
Same type you passed in the Navy.
Good.
Sorry I'm late, Mike. Got delayed at the shop.
That's okay, Paul. Doug.
Hi, Paul.
Hi. You, trying out for this Madagascar deal?
Yeah, that's right.
I thought you said it was rough.
It is.
You think you can be counted on? In emergencies, I mean?
Don't worry about me.
What is this?
None of my business.
Oh, wait a minute now. If this is something that I should know, let me hear it.
Well, it happened last summer. He was my buddy on a deep dive. We followed a barracuda into some seaweed, got tangled up.
And?
And he got free. I signaled for help, and he got scared. He went right up.
You let him stay there?
Of course not. I felt nitrogen narcosis hitting me, so I signaled him to go up with me. He refused.
Refused? I was tangled in the seaweed, buddy.
Oh, seaweed? There wasn't any seaweed.
Hey, what is this? I thought you guys were pals. You sweated out the war together? You opened up a diving club? What gives?
It's very simple. He just can't admit he's lost his nerve, that's all.
Look, let's get something straight. You're the one who's lost. When you lost Louise.
Louise?
Don't deny it. Ever since the day we announced our engagement, you've had it in for me. Now you're trying to knife me in the back.
I'm trying to keep you from killing yourself. You're afraid. The first dive you make below 50 feet, you'll panic.
Mr. Trimble.
We'll see about that when I make my test.
Yeah, we will.
Doug?
Yeah?
I don't know which one of you is telling the truth, but this is going to be a very rough job. Each diver is going to have to depend on the other guy for his life. I don't want any personal grudges. Is that clear?
Sure.
Yeah.
This was a problem that I hadn't bargained for. Two divers that I was counting on the most at each other's throat, when every candidate was essential to this nationally important project. The assignment was a great challenge. If I could train skin divers to become underwater miners, the great resources of underwater mineral deposits would be available, increasing our national wealth. We devoted several days testing individual divers. Each man had to qualify in the use of underwater explosives so they could blast the beryllium ore loose from the bottom of the sea in Madagascar. After the fuses were lit, we returned to our base of operation, a diving barge, anchored 1 mile offshore and equipped with a hoist, emergency devices, and a cabin with a decompression chamber, in case anyone might suffer from the rapture of the deep. This was the last day of the tests. Mr. Costigan was aboard, and he had very good reason to be concerned. So many men had failed to qualify that the Madagascar crew was still short 2 divers, and only a few candidates left. Paul Barton and Doug Trimble were members of this last group. About 5 seconds to go. Now. Right on the button. All right, men. We're right over the spot now. The next phase of this test will be a dive to the bottom. You'll all go down and pass.
Each man will have one of these nets lowered to him. Johnny, will you bring it in, please? One of these. It'll be your job to fill it with as many rocks as you possibly can. Ain't question.
Any particular size rock?
The bigger the better. Those explosions must have broken plenty of them loose.
How much time are we going to have?
4 minutes. Oh, and let me caution. Don't work too fast. I don't want anyone collapsing on me down there. Oh, and if you feel the rapture coming on, signal me and go on up. Is it all clear?
Right.
Okay. Let's get wet, huh?
Right, Johnny, lower the net.
Getting nervous, Bertie boy?
Not a bit.
I carried an underwater slate to grade them for performance and write down instructions. The first two divers began working at a good steady pace without hurrying. The water gave the rocks a certain amount of buoyancy, and I felt pretty hopeful that both of them may qualify. But working at a great depth, breathing compressed air for a prolonged time plays tricks on the mind. And one of the divers suddenly forgot one of the safety rules of diving. Look first before you reach into dark holes, or you may tangle with the vicious teeth of a moray eel. When molested, these babies attack ferociously with powerful jaws and sharp teeth which slant inwards. Suddenly the eel struck, fastening its teeth in his hand like fish hooks. Killing the eel proved to be a tough job, but prying those jaws loose was even tougher. Bleeding badly, so I quickly improvised a tourniquet. This man had forgotten an important safety regulation. It was obvious that he was affected by rapture of the deep. He didn't meet our safety standards, and we were still short of at least one diver. I now had 7 men for Costigan's crew, but at least one more was needed to make the project practical. The tests of Doug Trimble and Paul Barton would be vitally important, but first we had to take care of the injured man.
Get the first aid kit. How you feel?
Like I went through a buzzsaw.
He was lucky.
What do you mean?
His buddy stuck by him.
Why don't you knock it off?
You got a rope around him. Watch out below there.
Not too late to back out. Mike could understand.
Listen, I told you to knock it off. I didn't chicken out on you last summer. I haven't lost my nerve. I'm still just as good a diver as I ever was, so get off my back.
I don't understand why you're trying to con yourself into a job you know you can't handle.
I don't understand why you're trying to knife your own buddy in the back. No matter how jealous you are.
Jealous?
Yeah, jealous.
Yeah, stop it! Cut it out! Cut it out! You hear me? Cut it out! Cut it out! I suppose I ought to be grateful to both of you. You saved me from making a costly mistake. Putting you on the crew. You're both out.
Hey, hold it, Mike. Why not take one of them? I need every man I can get.
Okay. One of you goes.
Which one?
We'll soon find out. Put on your scuba. Now remember, you'll be graded not only on the number of rocks you can gather, but on diving technique, response to orders, and reaction to emergencies. All right, let's go.
Lower away.
Paul started out with an impressive show of strength, working fast. I wondered how long he could keep up that pace, though. Doug worked more slowly, apparently saving himself the long haul. Both men seemed to react favorably to the extreme depth and pressure. I always knew that they were good divers. I was impressed by Doug's good sense. He knew that he was falling behind, but he stuck to his slower pace. It was clear that he knew his own limits and wasn't taking any foolish chances. On the other hand, Paul seemed dissatisfied with a comfortable lead. I began to worry that he would push himself to the point of exhaustion, which can come on you with surprising suddenness at this depth, without any signs of forewarning. I gave him immediate instructions on my slate. I was happy to see that he could respond to orders, something any child can do in the fresh air and sunshine, but which is far from simple under these conditions. Both men were working extremely well, collecting rocks of different sizes. I was beginning to have hope that Costigan would have the extra man that he so desperately needed for his crew, and that underwater mining might soon become a reality because of these tests. I was grading Doug, observing him closely, when Paul suddenly did the unexpected. Instead of a rock, he picked up a guitar fish and began doing an Apache dance. Then he seemed to think that it was a golf club and imagined himself on the fairway. He was as giddy as a schoolgirl. This wasn't funny. I told him that he had rapture of the deep. I ordered him to go up to the shallower water where I knew the condition would automatically clear up. But instead of obeying, he nearly bashed my head in. Then he surprised Doug. This was rapture of the deep at its unpredictable worst. One minute he was like a kid playing games. The next he was a crazed madman bent on killing every living creature within reach. had dazed me. I felt paralyzed, as though I were caught in a weird nightmare. The two figures struggling desperately nearby seemed completely unreal. I kept waiting for them to disappear. But those fighting shapes persisted, and when they finally became shockingly real to me, I grabbed Paul. But he seemed to have the strength of a madman. It took a judo hold to finally subdue him. I pushed him into the rock net and had him hauled up. This created a new danger. In his condition, he might neglect to expel the compressed air which was expanding rapidly in his lungs as he was hauled up toward the surface. But the decompression chamber we had on our barge was for just such an emergency. It would prevent Paul's lungs from rupturing, which would almost certainly kill him.
Get him into the decompression chamber.
By applying air pressure inside the chamber, we took him back to the same conditions of 170 feet below and kept him there for 6 hours.
How do you feel, Paul?
Okay.
This is the last stop.
After reducing the pressure in slow stages, it was safe to open the lock of the chamber.
Is there a blanket over there, Mr. Costigan?
Here we go. How do you feel?
Yeah, better.
Stand up for this, Ray.
What did I do down there?
Tried to kill us both.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
There was no giant squid?
No.
Last summer, no seaweed. I guess that lets me out.
I'm afraid it does, Paul.
I'm sorry for the way I acted.
Forget it. We both know how 170 feet of seawater can knock a guy off base. Is that right, Doug?
That's right.
Well, that's another one we'll have to cross off the list. And that wraps up the tests. 8 qualified.
They can all make the grade, huh?
Guaranteed.
What about Rapture of the Deep?
They can handle it. You can start mining that ore as soon as you can get them to Madagascar.
Good.
My job was done. Soon metal taken from the ocean floor and fabricated into planes and rockets would go shooting through the air, maybe even into space. And underwater mining would become a fact.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.